Good evening, sweetheart. It's Maggie. Come sit with me. Let's make this night a gentler one. If tonight feels ordinary, that's enough. Ordinary evenings are where rest hides. I've just finished pouring the tea. Nothing special. Chamomile again. The kind that doesn't argue with the body. The lamp has been on for a while now, casting that familiar golden circle across the table. Not bright, not dramatic, just steady enough to let things appear when they're ready. And there it is, the steam. It rises slowly from the cup, not straight up, not in a hurry. It lifts, hesitates, then drifts sideways, as if it's learning how to be seen. I didn't think anything when I noticed it. That's what surprised me most. No memory came with it. No thought followed. Just looking. In this light, the steam looks softer than it has any right to be. Almost like it's made of breath instead of heat. It curls and thins, appearing, disappearing, never quite the same shape twice. It reminds me of how we settle into the evening sometimes, without deciding to, without effort, just because the night finally stopped asking us to explain ourselves. I shifted a little closer to the table. There's that sound again, the chair reminding me we've shared many nights together. We understand each other now. Neither of us tries to be quiet anymore. I wrapped my hands around the cup, not to warm them, they're already warm, but because holding something simple feels grounding. The steam brushed past my fingers, rose through the lamplight, and for a moment it looked almost tender. Not beautiful in a way you'd photograph, beautiful in a way you'd only notice if you weren't rushing anywhere. Lily shifted at my feet. She always does that right about now. Once the room decides what kind of evening it's going to be. Her breathing slows first. Mine usually follows. I stirred the tea once, slowly, just to hear the sound answer back. That quiet tap landed in the room like punctuation at the end of a sentence that didn't need another word. I watched the steam again, how it changes when it passes through the light, how it becomes visible only for a moment, then slips away. It's funny, during the day, steam is nothing, something you wave away. But here, under this lamp, at this hour, it becomes something worth noticing. Maybe that's what the evening does best. It doesn't add meaning. It removes the noise until meaning has room to show itself. If you're new here tonight, you don't need to know my stories. You don't need to follow anything. You can just sit with me, watch the steam rise, let the light do its quiet work. There will be time later for remembering, for thinking, for sorting through the day. But for now, there's just this cup, this lamp, and the way something ordinary can become surprisingly gentle when you finally slow down enough to see it. The night is only beginning, and it's already kind. I noticed something just then, and it took me a moment to realize what it was. I wasn't remembering anything. No old winter came forward. No familiar year tapped on my shoulder. No moment from long ago asked to sit beside me. Just this room, this light, this quiet. That doesn't happen often anymore. Memory usually arrives before I invite it. A smell, a sound, a small angle of light, and suddenly I'm somewhere else. But tonight, nothing followed the steam. I rested back into the chair a little more fully. There it is, that small sound again, like the house saying, "Yes, you're allowed to stay." I let my shoulders drop without telling them to. It felt natural, unplanned. The tea was still warm, but softer now. The kind of warmth that doesn't insist. I lifted the cup again, slowly, not to drink yet, just to feel its weight. The steam had changed by then, thinner, more scattered, still present, but no longer asking for attention. And I realized something small but important. When nothing is being remembered, the body finally gets to arrive. My breathing slowed, not because I guided it, because it didn't need guidance. Lily shifted closer to the chair leg, her back pressed lightly against my ankle. That quiet assurance she gives when she's decided everything is settled. She didn't look up, didn't check. She already knew. I envy that sometimes, how easily she trusts the moment. But tonight, I let myself borrow it. I stirred the tea once more, gently. The sound felt round, complete, as if the room had been waiting for it. There's a certain freedom in not needing to think, not because thinking is bad, but because it takes energy the evening has already earned back. The lamplight didn't reach the corners of the room, and I was glad for that. Some parts of the night don't need to be seen yet. I took a small sip then, not rushed, not delayed, just when it felt right. The tea tasted quiet, not bland, not sweet, just calm enough to let the throat relax. If your mind has been busy today, looping, reviewing, replaying, let this part be a pause. You don't need to hold anything here. Nothing is being remembered. And for this moment, that's a kindness. The night seems to understand. I watched the steam again, and it occurred to me how different it looks depending on the light. During the day, it's just steam, something you wave away without noticing. But here, under this lamp, it becomes almost careful. The light doesn't make it brighter, it makes it slower. The steam rises, passes through that warm circle, and for a moment, it looks as though it's being held. I didn't realize how much I needed to see that. Something ordinary being allowed to soften without being asked to perform. I leaned forward slightly, not to inspect it, just to be closer. At my age, I've learned there's a difference between curiosity and effort. This was curiosity. The steam changed shape again, thinning, then gathering, as if it couldn't quite decide how long it wanted to stay. It reminded me of how evenings work. They don't announce themselves. They arrive gradually, in pieces. Light does something kind at night. It doesn't reveal everything at once. It offers parts. A table edge, a cup rim, a soft curve of rising air. I've spent years thinking beauty was something dramatic, something you recognize immediately. But lately, it seems beauty prefers permission. Permission to be small. Permission to be quiet. Permission to pass without being kept. I reached for the cup again. The steam brushed past my wrist, warm but not insistent, just present. Lily shifted, then stilled again. She didn't look up. She rarely does when nothing is wrong. There's wisdom in that. The lamplight caught the steam just right then. For a second, it looked almost golden, not because it changed, but because the light did. That's something the evening keeps teaching me. Most things don't need to be fixed. They need to be seen differently. I stirred the tea once more, slowly. The sound echoed softly, then faded. No rush to replace it. I let my gaze drift, not away, but wider. The room felt settled, not asleep, not alert, just arranged. There are moments like this that don't ask for memory. They don't want to be saved. They only want to be lived through gently. If today felt heavy, or too loud, or a little sharp at the edges, this is the part where those edges soften. Not because the day changed, but because you did. The steam thinned again, finally dissolving into the air, and the room didn't miss it. It had already given what it came to give. The light stayed. On the evening, when the body notices before the mind does, not a thought, a sensation. My shoulders lowered without me asking them to, just a little, enough to tell me that night had decided to hold things for a while. I rested my forearms on the chair arms, feeling the familiar smoothness of the wood. That sound, it's never an interruption. It's more like confirmation. The chair and I have agreed on this hour. I lifted the cup again. The warmth reached my palms first, then my wrists, then that quiet place beneath the ribs where the day tends to hide its last concerns. I took a small sip, not for thirst, for continuity. Tea doesn't rush. It teaches the mouth to slow the rest of the body down. Outside, the street was still. No rain tonight. Just that winter quiet that feels held rather than empty. January evenings have a steadiness to them. December is always thinking about endings. January is more interested in breathing. I notice the steam again, less dramatic now, thinner, almost shy. It rose, disappeared, and didn't ask to be admired. That felt right. Sometimes calm doesn't look like peace. It looks like nothing happening, and realizing you're okay with that. Lily adjusted her position. Her movement was slow, considered. She curled closer, then stilled. Animals never second-guess comfort. I thought about how many moments we spend bracing for the next sound, the next demand, the next thing that might go wrong, and how rare it is to sit inside a moment that isn't asking anything of you. The lamplight stayed steady, no flicker, just that warm oval holding the table, the cup, the steam's memory. I didn't reach for my thoughts. I let them come, then leave, the way steam does. A small worry drifted through me, briefly. Nothing sharp, just a passing check-in from the nervous system, making sure everything was still safe. It moved on, satisfied. That's something I've learned to trust. Not every tremble is a warning. Sometimes it's just the body resetting itself. I shifted back slightly. The blanket settled. The cup stayed warm. The room remained kind. If you're listening right now and feeling that same quiet drop in your shoulders, that's not sleep. That's permission. Permission to stop scanning. Permission to stop holding. Permission to let the light do the work for a while. The evening knows how to carry this. There's a moment, quiet and easily missed, when the mind stops asking what comes next, not because it has answers, but because it no longer needs them. I noticed it just after setting the cup down. The sound was gentle, final in the best way, like a sentence ending without urgency. The steam had thinned now, only a faint trace rising when the lamplight caught it at the right angle. It reminded me of how thoughts behave when they've been allowed to finish. They don't disappear loudly. They fade. I reached for the spoon and stirred once, just once. Any more would have been noise. The tea tasted softer now, not warmer, not sweeter, just settled. There's a point in every evening when the body stops checking the clock. That's when rest becomes real. I leaned back slightly. That sound again, older than intention, familiar as breathing. The lamp didn't change, but the room felt deeper somehow, as if the light had learned where to stay. I let my gaze rest on the steam's last appearance, a thin line rising, bending, dissolving. No effort, no explanation, and something inside me followed its lead. just existing gently. Lily shifted again. Her paw brushed my ankle. A quiet check-in. I answered by staying still. Sometimes reassurance isn't movement, it's presence. I realized then how rarely we let ourselves sit without narrating the moment. No fixing, no planning, no evaluating how well we're resting. Just sitting, just breathing, just letting the light and warmth do what they've always known how to do. If this evening were a lesson, and I'm not sure it is, it wouldn't be about calm. It would be about trust. Trusting the quiet, trusting the pause, trusting that nothing bad happens when you stop reaching for the next thought. I picked up the cup once more, one last sip, not as an ending, just as a continuation. The steam barely appeared now, but its absence felt complete. That's how you know a moment has done its work. Not when it stays, but when it leaves without taking anything with it. The night stayed kind. The room feels finished now, not empty, not silent in a lonely way, just complete. There is a particular stillness that arrives only after an evening has said everything it needed to say without using many words. The lamp glows lower now, not dimming out of tiredness, but out of understanding. I've always liked that about light, how it knows when to step back without being told. I reached forward and slid the cup a little closer to the edge of the table. The porcelain made that soft, final sound, the kind that doesn't echo. I'll wash it in the morning. Tonight, it has done enough. The steam is gone now, completely. No curl, no shimmer, no soft white ribbon rising into the lamplight, but the space where it used to be still feels gentle, as if warmth has a memory and chooses to stay behind. It reminds me of certain conversations I've had in my life. The good ones don't linger loudly. They leave behind a calm you only notice later, when your shoulders drop without permission. Lily shifted once more, just a small movement, a paw adjusting, a breath deepening, then stillness, that deep, trusting stillness that says, I'm safe here. Animals know when a night has settled. They don't overthink it. They simply accept it. I rested my hands in my lap. They felt warm, steady, no tremble, no urgency. Earlier today, my hands had hesitated. Just a second. A reminder that the body sometimes speaks before the heart has time to reassure it. But now, nothing. Just quiet cooperation between breath and bone. I leaned forward slowly. That sound, always honest, always patient. I swear this chair has aged with me. Neither of us apologizes for the noises anymore. The house responded in its own way. A faint settling in the walls, a soft agreement in the floorboards. Old houses know when evenings end. They don't rush you. They reached out and turned the lamp down another notch. The light obeyed quietly. No flicker, no protest. There's something deeply comforting about things that don't argue with rest. Before leaving the room, I paused, not to remember, not to reflect, just to feel the shape of the night one last time. It felt simple, unremarkable, and deeply kind. Not every evening needs to heal you dramatically. Some nights just need to let you go to sleep without carrying extra weight. If today held even a small uncertainty for you, if your breath caught once or twice for reasons you couldn't name, let this night be the place where it loosens its grip. Nothing needs to follow you into sleep. The light has done its work. The tea has cooled. The steam has said its quiet goodbye. And the night is ready to hold you now. Rest well tonight, sweetheart. Good night. From me.